Okay. So now after we've identified our correct fluids and what we need to do before we start bleeding, now we're ready to go. All right. Now, normally you would go to all data and look up the specific bleeding sequence on the vehicle. If one is not posted, then you automatically start furthest away from the master cylinder. Right rear, right front, left front, and then keep repeating until you have no more air in the system and your fluid is nice and clear. Okay? So these are the very, very important signals you need to know when it comes to this, because this is a procedure that's extremely simple, but if you miss a couple steps, it can go bad real quick. It'll ruin your day. Okay? All right, so how this works, some simple signals. Okay? We know the master cylinder is full. Everything's clean, tight, ready to go. It's always better to do this with two people, so one person's in the car. All right? Go ahead and ask for help from your neighbor, your teammate, anyone you've got. This goes a lot better with two people. So how this works is the person in the vehicle is going to go ahead and pump up the pedal 5 times and then hold pressure on it. And I don't want you to try to push the pedal through the firewall into the engine, but you need to use more foot pressure than you would for normal driving. Because normal driving, you've got vacuum on our power booster, and that's going to assist with our braking. And whenever you're bleeding, we have none of that. Okay? So, the person in the car pumps it up 5 times and holds, and on the 5th time, after they're holding pressure, you're going to say, ready. Go ahead. 5 pumps and hold.
Ready.
Okay. Now, when I open this up, the brake pedal is going to fall. It's going to push out fluid and air, and you need to keep applying pressure through the whole thing. Okay? So he pumps 5, he holds. I go ahead and open up the bleeder valve. And you don't have to open it much. A quarter turn, half turn, that's all you need. Okay? So I open this up. Okay, a little bit of fluid to start. I'm going to go ahead and close it. And then I say, again. Okay, that's going to be the signal to the guy in the car that our bleeder is closed, and so we have no risk of air going back into our system. Okay? So I say again, 5 more pumps.
Ready.
Okay, are you pushing hard?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open the bleed again. Okay, we got clean fluid, tiny bit of air actually. Now I'm closed. Again.
Ready.
Open us up a quarter turn. Got a good stream going. Again.
Ready.
Okay. Now, ideally you want to do it 3 or 4 times on each wheel, at each location. Why do you think you don't want to stay at one wheel and just keep doing it repeatedly? You will run out of fluid, which that will ruin your day on your job, on your project, but what else?
All you're doing is putting new fluid in the valve.
Exactly, you got it. You are wasting fluid, but you're only basically flushing one circuit or one channel of the brakes. Okay? You need to do it evenly all the way around. Okay? Maybe even a little more on the back because it's a longer run. There's more contaminated fluid and or air because it's a further distance, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Another thing. These little bleeder screws, if you're opening and closing, you don't have to get in there with that He-Man action and, okay? You don't have to do that because all you're going to do you're going to strip out the bleeder, you're going to break something off, and then you're going to ruin it for the next guy. Or else you're going to have to buy more new parts that you already replaced. So all you got to do is bump it closed. Okay? We'll try it again. So what do you need to do is in the car?
Pump the brake 5 times.
5 times and hold it hard. So go ahead.
Ready.
Okay, close it. Again.
Ready.
Okay. Couple more things to write down. This is important. And we talked about it a little bit earlier. You see how I've got my lug nut on backwards. That's going to ensure that the drum is on flush. It's not going to come off, because if I spin this off, okay, or loosen it, as you're bleeding the system and the brake shoes are going in and out, this drum could actually get loose and it can go ahead and walk on you, and you don't want that to happen. Okay? So go ahead and make sure you've got at least one lug nut on, holding everything together. Okay? So, we know the signals. We pump 5 times. Hold. And then they say ready. You crack the bleeder how much? About a quarter turn. You're going to see some fluid and or air, depending on what the issue is. You close it, and then you say again. Because if he lifts his foot off that pedal, if he lifts his foot up off that pedal, and we still have our bleeder open a quarter turn, it's just going to suck the air right back in, and we're worse off than we were. Okay? Does that make a sense? Okay. Yes, sir?
I mean, I'm just saying this for basis, but say that you open the bleeder valve and nothing's coming out.
No problem. You just make sure, again, you haven't run out of fluid in your master cylinder, but that just means you have an excessive amount of air in the system. That's all it means. You're just going to have to do it a little bit longer. But I would stay at one wheel until you at least see a little bit of fluid come out. That was a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Okay?